What do the happiest expats in the Philippines in retirement have in common?
Today we're going to share about our happiness and your happiness here in the Philippines.
Could save you thousands of dollars and years worth of mistakes. I'm Rob.
And I'm Chrissy, and welcome back to Fly Me to the Philippines.
We're going to tell you what really makes expats happy. After meeting hundreds of expats, consulting with over 400, there's a difference. All expats are not created equal. And there are some who, well, let's just say they're not writing home about paradise.
It's not about how big the house here in the Philippines or how young your girlfriend will be.
We're here at our mountain property, 45 minutes south of Cagayan de Oro in northern Mindanao. Chrissy, we have a banana leaf on our coffee table.
Yeah, it's very native.
Very
and
native.
I feel like we're really in the mountain. We're really in the mountain.
We're ready for a boodle fight, right?
And I like coming here because I want to embrace the nature and I just want peace. I want to get away from those pollution, from the heat, from a lot of toxicity, even the people's toxicity.
There could be toxicity of expats. You know, some people don't want to live where there's too many expats. A lot of people tell me they just don't like Dumaguete because there's too many expats, or they didn't come to the Philippines to be totally surrounded by expats.
Now today, Rob, we're going to talk about happiness of an expat here in the Philippines. You're an expat and you're here in the Philippines. I'm gonna ask you a question.
Go.
What make you happy?
Well, you make me happy, and but on the other hand, I always tell people you have to love yourself, and before you can really be loved by somebody else, you have to love yourself. There's this famous poem by a Lebanese poet that was on the New York Times bestseller list for like over 50 years about marriage, and he talks about how the oak tree and the cypress tree have to live next to each other without blocking out the sunlight for the other person, without the other person completing them, so to speak. You have to have your own sense of happiness. But having met you as an older man, started a new chapter in my life, finding out it really is feasible. You can be in your mid-60s and come to paradise, meet a unicorn, and I find that our relationship is what makes me happiest, the quality of the relationship and how we spend so much time together, we work together, and we travel together, and we're best friends, and that's first and foremost what makes me happy.
And that's our happiness here in the Philippines. Let's talk about their happiness.
One of the traits of happiness is those who live a modest life and they don't try and recreate Beverly Hills and Bohol.
I always say, like even to my family and to my friends, that if you live your life with contentment, you will live happily. No matter how small your house is, no matter how big it is, no matter how much your income in a month here in the Philippines, I think if you're gonna know how to be contented, how to be happy, you'll be happy.
Yeah, the cost of living is quite a bit lower here, but if you don't control yourself, you can be house poor here too. You can overreach.
And speaking from experience, a lot of people know how I lived my life before I met you. And that's below the modest that you are mentioning. That is why the advantage of living simplicity in the Philippines is that you will learn how to appreciate things.
She finds it strange that we spend 50,000 pesos to live on the ridge with a view and a breeze back in CDO. And she really is frugal and would prefer us not to spend so much money on rent. And so that's one of the great pleasures of coming to the Philippines and living with a Filipina. They're not looking for a high life, and they don't like to see money spent aggressively, and they want to save to buy land or to come to a place like this as a mountain retreat. They'd rather have that.
You know what, Rob? I think an expat will be happy here in the Philippines if they will learn how to embrace Filipino simplicity.
Yeah, we have met expats who've left $400,000 homes in the West, and they've rented 25,000 peso properties in the far rural areas outside of, well, one friend we know, 45 minutes outside Dumaguete, and he embraces the chickens and the roosters and the goats, and it gives him great peace and happiness to live in that rural province setting.
Isn't it weird that a lot of people will leave behind a rich country in exchange to a simple country like the Philippines, but then yet they experience real happiness?
I find that after I was divorced and I shed most of my material possessions and my income went from very high to a little less than average even, I became a little bit of a minimalist, and I got rid of all those material possessions, and I went through a period where materialism didn't, you know, a new TV had a half-life of 2 weeks of happiness, and then boom, you're back to regular life. And I think as people get towards retirement age, they learn the lessons of life and simplicity. And, you know, there used to be this TV show, Green Acres is the place to be. And, you know, he was a rich guy from Manhattan, a multimillionaire. He sought that country living. And I think a lot of us, we have spent hours in traffic, rush hour traffic trying to get to the office, hours rushing to the airport. We're looking for a simple, that's why I love it up here. Yeah, I mean, I like being down in CDO because it has a Costco S&R, it has the private schools for the kids, it has the big supermarket just 2 kilometers away. There's all the luxuries there and a nice subdivision, but this is just 45 minutes away. I love it up here.
And the lesson to learn: time and peace is the real luxury here in the Philippines. You can't buy it with floor marbles and infinity pools.
And time is something you can't replace. You can't, you know, there's a limited supply of time. And gentlemen, if you want to know what it costs to live in the Philippines and what the challenges will be for you, if you want to break out of the box, if you want to get off the couch, well, buy our book. It's still #1 in Philippines travel on Amazon. Healthcare, cost of living, best retirement cities. It's all there. Go ahead and pick up a copy.
Now, Rob, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about trait number 2.
You know, Chrissy, it's no secret. A lot of men come to Asia in search of meeting much younger women. And sometimes they're not looking to be in a long-term relationship. They're not looking for marriage. I always recommend they go to Thailand for that type of adventure. Here in the Philippines, there will be some men who are really fascinated with really young girls.
Eye candies.
Eye candy, yeah. And so, yeah, it's no secret. This is a part of expat life and part of the people you'll meet here in the expat community.
You know, I heard a lot of people saying, I live my life, you live your life, this is my way, this is your way. I respected that, but to be honest with you, having a partner where you love truly without those material thing in return, without the physical aspect like that, all just natural and pure, is priceless. I think you can live your life happily if you have that in your life and with your partner.
Now, Chrissy, we coach as part of our consulting practice. We coach that even if you're in your mid-60s, you should be seeking to meet a woman who's in her mid to late 20s and early 30s. And if you're in 70 and above, Chrissy says 30 to 40. Someone from a small town of maybe 20,000 people to up to 100,000 people, not in the big cities. And there's no shame and there's no bad reputation that comes with that. In fact, you'll find the majority of expats, when they met their Filipina, she was around 30 years old. Now, there's lots of guys who've met women in their 40s and 50s, and they're really happy. But I think in talking to hundreds and hundreds of men, we have the kind of the metadata at this point in preparation for writing our book, as part of the consulting practice, as part of Chrissy's background investigations into social media. We've collected a lot of data, and it seems like the men who are really, really happy have not been chasing or hooking up with the extremely young Filipinas. The brain synapses in a human's brains don't complete connecting until 29. So the person's not physically mature until they're 29.
Diving deeply about dating with dignity, let's talk about more about this, you know, like dignity and dating. When it comes to dating, you can just date anyone you want by any reason you want by dating. But when you say dignity, tell me about it.
Well, here in the Philippines, it's like 1960s back in the West, and a lot of these girls come from small towns where they have 25 cousins and 15 uncles. And if they fly to Manila to meet you, or you come visit their hometown and then you break up with them a week or two later, I think it could rob the women of their dignity. And you have to be a stand-up guy and try and meet the girl in private for 2 or 3 days before you decide to let everyone know that you're with her, if you don't have good intentions. And so now sometimes, people can't keep 10 pounds of personality in a 5-pound wrapper, and they get triggered, and you got to blow out. You just got to blow out. But you shouldn't go into it meeting family members and taking a girl's dignity if you're not serious.
Yeah, I think it also applies to us Filipina dating with dignity, because I think if you're just gonna date because of the money, because of a personal intention that can make your future bright maybe, I think that's the example of dating without dignity, just to get what you want, material stuff, but no purity and love.
Yeah, I mean, there are Filipinas who are, desperate to hook up with a foreigner, and they're bouncing between multiple foreigners, just desperate to have a financial situation taken care of while they're still at a younger age. And I think there's a lack of dignity when people do that. Trait number 2 of the expats who are really well adjusted and are living their best life in the Philippines, they've met a woman who is their best friend. They love themselves, and they didn't settle till they met a woman who had chemistry, intelligence, a beauty about her, a peace about her, and she was motivated by, looking for security, but she really followed her heart also.
Yeah, I think to get real happiness when it comes to dating here in the Philippines, date with dignity, not just for the eye candy. Trait number 3 is really huge. This is something that you should learn about here in the Philippines.
You have to set boundaries. Just because you're here in a foreign country doesn't mean you have to do everything that the Filipino people do. For example, if you don't want to sing karaoke, just say no. If you don't want to eat massive amounts of carbohydrates mixed with sugar and fat because you're trying to manage type 2 diabetes, just say no. If you are asked for money and you can't afford it, just say no. So you have to set boundaries, Chrissy, and you have to be now, you can't keep up with the Joneses. You're going to meet other expats here, living a big life, driving an SUV, having 2 houses, going on vacations to Vietnam and Thailand and Japan, and inviting you to come out to expensive dinners. And if that's not your budget and that's not what you enjoy, just say no.
Yeah, I think the real model in this video right now is our relationship, because we're the one talking about it. Now, I'm going to ask you questions. What are the boundaries you've set into a relationship?
Well, I've asked you not to continue teaching. You were a certified teacher, and I just don't want to spend all my retirement time sitting home alone in a Barco lounge or watching YouTube. And, I don't like to have a relationship where my partner is drinking socially too much. I don't like to be approached by family members for loans or money, so I give you a stipend and I have you deal with that, and nobody ever asks me for anything, and you have a budget, and if you want to spend it on family, so that's a boundary. What other boundaries do I have that you can think of?
Maybe going out with friends or drinking, something like that without you.
Yeah, I don't really want my young 32-year-old wife to be out drinking at a resort overnight with a bunch of friends, or going to a disco where there's striptease stuff going on after midnight. I'm not interested in that. I didn't come here. I came looking for a 1960s time traveler who embraced her gender roles, but was smart and beautiful. Chrissy sings. She was student body president. There's a lot that I got that I wasn't looking for all of that, but I got a lot in the package, and I'm just like, I'll speak up if I run the risk of it looking controlling or jealous, but I believe that I didn't come here to meet an exact replica of an entitled Western woman.
Yeah, like what I always say, present what you want to your Filipina, set boundaries and talk about it, and if she's up to it, then you will be happy. If she's not up to it, then that could be a little challenge.
Yeah, I think the happiest expats are the ones who found a peaceful woman who will work with him and will
Respect the boundaries.
respect the boundaries, but put the marriage first. We met somebody who, when they arrived here, they just try too hard to be everybody's best friend. They try to, we don't have too big an expat community in Cagayan de Oro, and a lot of towns are like that. There just aren't that many expats, and they just figure, hey, you're an expat, let's get together, let's socialize, let's get together for karaoke, let's go out to dinner, let's go on vacation together. They try too hard. They think because someone else is a foreigner that they have so much in common. But in reality, what you have in common is that you both came to this part of the Philippines. Your wives have way more in common than you have in common. And back in the West, it's possible you would never be friends with these people. So here, you're more gracious and you open up and you expand your boundaries for who you invite in your social circle. But eventually, if it's not a good fit, it's better to move on.
Yeah, I think the lesson that we're gonna learn in this trait is that no matter what, you're gonna say yes to everyone. You're gonna entertain everyone. You're gonna stand like an ATM machine to everyone.
Right.
You cannot please everyone here in the Philippines.
And if you have resources and other people don't, eventually they're going to say, Uncle, we don't want to spend the money. We don't want to party at night. We don't want to travel. We can't keep up with you, and they're going to bail out.
And if you're gonna be trying hard to please everyone, to make them happy, you will just compromise your own happiness.
Right. And one of the things I promised myself, Chrissy, is that I would write my own ticket in retirement, and I would hang out with the people I want to hang out with and do the things I want to do, and I would protect that retirement, and I wouldn't let the wave of other expats drive me in a direction I didn't want to go.
It's like writing your own story. If somebody wants to mess up with your story, scratch them out from the page.
That's right. That's right. Make a clean start. Trait number 4. This one's really simple. Happy expats have hobbies that don't involve bar stools.
I think if you're just gonna get close to those bar stools, you can just get involved into trouble than the happiness. I think.
Don't see them happy. And every town will have an expat watering hole where one day a week or every day of the week, expats can be found who enjoy their beverages, and they enjoy the bar stool, and they might smoke, and they might tell stories, and they're not doing anything different they might have done at home. But it doesn't seem like that would represent the really happy expats.
Yeah, I've known someone, which is one of my uncles, said that the reason why he's always drunk is that the only time he's happy is when he's drunk. Because when he's drunk, he's going to dream like a fantasy. He's not living the reality because the reality is painful.
A lot of people believe that we have 2 versions of ourselves in our head. There's us and our egoic mind. And when you drink or consume other substances, you are trying to take your egoic mind into a vegetative state. The only way you can get that voice in your head to shut up is to quiet it down by being a vegetable. It's better to be in the moment, enjoy life, come up to the mountains, breathe the fresh air. But expats who get involved in exercise, physical activity, hobbies, charity work, karaoke, even swimming and traveling around the Philippines, adventures. These are the people. We have a lot of friends. We have one friend. He is in his 70s, and he hikes 3 days a week with other expats. He golfs 2 or 3 days a week with other expats. He has his wife runs a small business that he assists in. He is playing cards. He's swimming on 1 day a week. He bikes sometimes on the weekend. And he mingles and mixes amongst 10, 15 expats in all these activities. That is a happy life, I think. I mean, he's very fulfilled. Now, there's other people, they never leave their Filipina side. They're just happy being loved with this amazing, embracing Filipina, and they don't do anything without their Filipina, and they don't really have many expat friends at all, and their hobbies involve online history, pursuing, maybe writing a book, just simple things, chess with one friend, but they have either a loved one at their side or they have some hobbies.
Yeah, I think even with or without Filipina here in the Philippines, if you're gonna come here, if you're gonna do even a very simple little thing that will make you feel you have purpose, you're living a purpose here in the Philippines, that will make you happy. In our situation, we shared a lot of hobbies. Before we started this YouTube channel, we watch Korean dramas, we watch series, and for me, that was a little step of us sharing our little hobbies. Yeah. And then we took the big step.
A passion project. In a perfect world, if you can have a passion project, scuba, a YouTube channel, golf, charity work, missionary work, travel is not enough. Everybody loves, but it's expensive to travel, and you can't do it every day of every month. And eventually, you got to take a pause. And when you take that pause, you might be home just stuck looking at the other person. So, a love of literature could be it, but a passion project that you could both be really, really passionate about. Building a house in the mountains could be a passion project too. Yeah.
You know what? Every time we come here, when we're not doing YouTube and we come here in the mountain, we're just sitting down, we're just listening to the music. It's a simple activity that we're doing together, but it gives a lot of happiness in our day.
And it's unplugged. We don't have Wi-Fi up here yet.
Yes.
We don't get an internet signal. And we've been coming up here for 4 or 5 hours, 2 or 3 times a week, and we just camp. We just kind of sit out and we bring some sodas, and we just talk and listen to some music. No Wi-Fi, no messages, no world
no
events.
Electricity. It's just us and the nature.
It's beautiful. So that can be a passion project too.
That's the power of Purposeful Hobby. It gives you identity beyond just being the foreigner.
Chrissy, we're halfway through the traits that lead to a happy expat here in the Philippines. Drop a comment right now. Tell us what you think will ruin and what'll make your retirement experience prosper.
Rob, trait number 5 is my favorite. It's close to my heart. Happy expat doesn't just live here in the Philippines. They become part of it.
That's right, Chrissy. They break out of the expat bubble. They volunteer at the barangay cleanups. They eat the lechon at the festivals, and they enmesh themselves in the culture.
A happy expat here in the Philippines understand that respect earned not just through politeness, but also through participation. Remember when Joseph, our taxi driver, invited us to their home?
Well, he's not just our taxi driver. He was a witness.
Family.
He was a witness at our wedding and played a big role in our wedding, as you can see a picture here. We just became great friends.
Yeah, really, I learned from that experience that sometimes you will just bump into a person by accident, but then it will play a really big role in your life. Like that taxi driver became part of our life. One day when he invited us to their home, you become part of their family. They respected you, and we felt very welcome and not awkward about it. We ate dinner with them.
He has 4 sisters, and they came over to drop something off one day. All the sisters came because we got this great view at our property, and it was just and we've met when our bongo truck died in the mountains. His nephew drove the bongo truck, came up to rescue us. There's a lot of benefits with engaging in Filipino culture, and not just your family members.
I think engaging into that kind of activity with Filipino people will make you part of it. You are not just an ordinary foreigner who happened to come here in the Philippines, which is not your country, but when you engage with them, they will just forget that you're a foreigner. It's like engagement, in return, happiness.
Yeah. We're on to trait number 6, and this one's just non-negotiable. Expats take care of their health.
You will not enjoy the paradise of the Philippines if you are bedridden or you are always worried about yourself.
Chrissy, the guys who thrive here take care of their health. They have medical insurance, they exercise, they try and eat right, they try and stay active. They want to maximize their life in paradise.
And there are a lot of expats that are saying that it's very hard to be healthy here in the Philippines because of the food. I think there's a lot of ways for you to customize your own food here in the Philippines.
Well, if you have bad habits in the West, if you drink too much, you eat too much, you don't engage in any physical activity, it's really easy to have those bad habits amplified here. The cost of drinking is way less expensive. You've got Filipinas waiting on you hand and foot and giving foot massages. Everybody thinks you're the man, you're the one paying for everything, and you're being treated like a king. And it's easy to just ignore your health and ignore exercise, and things are inexpensive, so you can buy extra and consume extra. You got to watch it.
Yes, I think health is the real wealth. Like, what you're gonna do with a lot of $1 million in your pocket if your health is falling.
Well, I have a friend, he says you never saw a hearse with suitcases on the back because you can't take anything with you.
Yeah. Now let's go to trait number 7, Rob. The happiest expat are those expats who never stop learning.
That's right, Chrissy. You know, I know about 75 words of Visayan Cebuano. I'm thinking I need to take a course and actually learn it properly. I've been here for a couple of years, 2-3 years. But the happiest expats go and they engage in lifelong learning. You know, they learn scuba when they're 70 years old. They engage in hiking and learn and go on new adventures. They visit 10, 20 waterfalls. They pick up rocks and minerals at the side of the road. They volunteer with city organizations and religious organizations. They are active in always learning. And we have a lot of friends that are just constantly learning, whether it's reading new books, studying history, volunteering, learning the language. I have friends, they study the local language. They really want to speak it. And so I think this is a great opportunity. If you're in a foreign country, there's a lot to learn.
You know, learning simple things in the Philippines will make you happy, will make your Filipina happy, and will make the other people happy as well here in the Philippines. Just like, for example, you're learning the language here in Mindanao, and then it makes me happy that you're happy learning it. You know, when you can say already like 4-word phrase in Cebuano, I feel that you're happy, it makes me happy, and the people around us are very happy when they heard you speaking.
Yeah, they smile. When we were at the hardware store having the plumbing fixtures loaded on, and I said, voila, no more. You know, and then he just looked at me and smiled.
Yeah, so they will feel like proud, and they will feel happy about you trying to learn here in the Philippines. And this is actually a gesture of respect to the culture and to the native people. And I think there are a lot also as well that just don't want to learn. You know, they're gonna stop themselves from learning. They're not interested.
The nice thing about the Philippines is 1/3 of the people are fluent in English, and English is on the signs and on the documents and on the menus. And if you don't want to learn, you'd rather learn to scuba dive or skydive, well, you don't have to learn the language. Languages can be really burdensome for a lot of people. So it's an option. And like myself, I speak quite a bit of Spanish, but I haven't dove in to really learn the language. I'm learning it kind of gradually because we have kids in the house and things. But being a lifelong learner is a path to happiness. And we see the friends and expats we've met, the ones that have hobbies and are learning are really the happiest.
And you know what, Rob? I am really happy because there are a lot of aspiring expats that are buying our book. It means like thousands of them want to learn about the Philippines.
Yeah, and it has the top 25 phrases in Tagalog and Visayan. It has all about the top 25 dishes you'll learn here. Chrissy, our next trait is super, super important. We saved it for last, but I think it's the most important. Retirees, expats, they find a partner who doesn't drag them down, but adds to their experience.
Happy expat here in the Philippines look for character, not just curves, loyalty, not just lipstick.
A happy expat has a Filipino who is adding to his enjoyment, adding to his retirement, and not just consuming.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of expats that are thinking this way. They're gonna come here in the Philippines, they're gonna find a Filipina to make them happy. But a lot of those expats as well failed on their belief that the Filipina will give them happiness, because most of the time the Filipina will break them here in the Philippines.
Chrissy, I always tell men, love yourself, hire hard, manage easy. We're looking for a low-maintenance Filipina, not a high-maintenance Western woman in Filipina clothing, in a Filipina skin.
Rob, in the Philippines, finding real Filipina is finding real love. And real love multiplies your happiness, doesn't divide resources.
You know, Chrissy, it's really important that you take your time and make sure your Filipina is not transactional. She's not just interested in your financial security. She really loves you. And a lot of times, people who grow up in poverty, when they're exposed to money very rapidly, they don't really understand the value of money. They don't realize how hard you worked and how hard you saved and the sacrifices you made. And you drove that beat up pickup truck for 20 years to have this money in your bank account. And it used to break down all the time. And now you have it and they think it's free money. It's easy money. It's not really hard earned money. And you'll see them spending it on frivolous things or encouraging you to spend more money and buy more expensive hotel rooms, more expensive vacations, more clothing, more jewelry. This is going to be a problem and it's going to take away from your happiness. And the expats who are happiest here, they have found a Filipina who respects the value of money and adds an element of happiness to their life by not putting that pressure on the financial equation.
Finding the right Filipina might be easy for you, especially if you have the guide that you needed, but then there will be a lot of factors that will go along the way with that. Even you found already the real Filipina, but there's a lot of things that can distract you or make your life miserable and not being happy in the Philippines. Just take note, happiness in the Philippines is not automatic. It's built one wise decision at a time.
It's the boundaries you set, the health you work on, the Filipino community you engage with, and most of all, picking your Filipina partner wisely.
And for you who's watching right now, if you're planning to make your move, don't leave it to chance.
Chrissy, we've helped hundreds of men achieve their dream of relocating to the Philippines and helping them to meet Filipinas just like you. Don't leave it to chance. Everyone in a perfect world deserves an older brother and a younger sister that could help guide them along their path.
And to reach us, just message us at flymetothephilippines@gmail.com.
You can find links in the description box and the first pinned comment that'll take you to our consultation calendar and Chrissy's open source social media investigation. Before you come to the Philippines, make sure you've really stomped on all the social media that's already public. She'll do it in an ethical and moral fashion.
And the link to our book in Amazon is also there in the description box. You can check it out.
Chrissy, it's our 2-year anniversary on YouTube. We have just about 38,000 subscribers exactly. We're going to hit it tomorrow or the next day. 2-year anniversary. Wish us a happy anniversary. Give us your comment. And Chrissy, I respond to 100% of all comments. 2 years on now, I've never not responded to a comment.
And I think they are happy reading your responses.
And there's a couple of them I kind of didn't respond to because they weren't nice.
Thank you for joining us here in our mountain property. See you on our next video.